Hello and welcome back to my Dandelion Diaries for the second to last day of Inkmas, at least for Diamine, but it will be the last day for Colorverse. I cannot believe how far we have come. I cannot believe what a wild ride we've had. I also cannot believe how many sheening inks we've had in this calendar. I'm kind of surprised, but I'm also happy at the same time. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling and let's open door 24, the second to last day of the black Diamine Inkvent. Oh, okay. It looks like we have maybe a brown ink. I can't really tell. The sticker kind of looks gold too. It's called Salted Caramel, and it is a shimmer ink. And our shimmer is definitely gold. Wow, that is some gold shimmer. It actually kind of looks like there's a lot of shimmer in there. We shall see. Let's go ahead and swatch this one out. I'm kind of excited. Maybe it's a brown that we were missing from this Inkvent. Okay, this ink is very gold. It's I don't know. I feel like I've seen this ink before, and I don't know what I've seen it in, but I feel like I've seen this ink before. It is beautiful though. It is sadly not the dark brown that I was wishing for this year, but we're here. It would have been nice to have like a dark walnut brown with some shimmer in it, but I can live with this one, I guess. The base of this is a bit more of like a tan, even to a like brown gold situation, ochre if you will. It is muted though, so it is again a lighter ink, which I feel like we've had quite a few in this calendar that are of the lighter variety. But the shimmer with it is a bit more of like a true yellow gold, and I feel like it brings out a lot more of the warmth in this ink. If you were to take this up without any shimmer, I think the ink would look a lot like sand. With the shimmer, it looks very much like sun rays to me on a bright sunny morning. It is absolutely gorgeous, and is definitely a nice warm kind of golden ink. I think last year when they did Fortune Gold, they should have done this, and this year they should have made this darker, but that's just my humble opinion. Again, I do think I've seen this ink before, so let me break out my swatch book and see, what I have to compare with for this one. Okay, so I'm going to start with the browns for this one and move into the yellows. I feel like those are the really only places I could see this ink fitting, just because the yellow gold shimmer really is strong and it pulls the ink a bit more yellow, but it is also pretty tan, like brown colored. I don't think there's anything close on this page except for Ackerman's number 4, Hals Old Brun, except for the Hals Old Brun has a bit more of a shade that it goes darker. It's almost sandier, if you will, and the black haloing pulls it out so it's a bit more legible looking, but that's really the only one, and it does not have any shimmer. Here's Diamine's Dusted Truffle, but they're definitely not at all close. Okay, I'm not finding anything as warm as Salted Caramel yet. If you wanted a very dark version of it, definitely check out 𝗂𝗶𝘁's Honey. That ink shades pretty dark into like a darker brown, but it is very strongly yellow brown. So another really good one. Just as I've said with other 𝗂𝗶𝘁 inks, they are a bit scented. They have a warm kind of vanilla smell to them, almost like a spun sugar sometimes. I'm not seeing anything quite similar enough yet. Maybe I have more in the yellows. Wearingeul's Song of the Reed is kind of close. It pulls slightly more orange and does not have the shimmer, but I feel like the base colors are very similar. It's also kind of similar to Diamine's Golden Brown, but Golden Brown is much darker. I kind of want to say Van Diamond Saturn, but that ink is so much more yellow, so I'm not going to say it. Here's Diamine's Caramel Sparkle, which I felt these two might be similar, but Caramel Sparkle is definitely much more orange, but the shimmers on these are very, very similar. Let's move into the yellows. I think I'll have more success here. 𝗵𝘃𝗵𝗁 Company's Rotted Cork is similar. It has a little bit better shading though. It's also kind of similar to Vinta's Bronze Yellow, but Bronze Yellow does not have shimmer and it pulls slightly darker and more yellow. It's very close to Van Diemen's Neptune's Necklace, but I feel like the Van Diemen ink is a bit drier, at least from what I remember. And it's also kind of similar to 𝗂𝗏𝘁𝗍�'s Old Gold, but I think Old Gold has stronger shading and is a bit more yellow. Okay, this is the ink. This is it. Okay, 𝗤𝗏𝘁𝗄𝗏 Press's Bookkeeper's Brass. This is almost exactly what I thought of when I swatched it. It is very, very close to 𝗤𝗏𝘁𝗄𝗏 Press's Bookkeeper's Brass. Bookkeeper's Brass, the shimmer is slightly more champagne gold, whereas the salted caramel is gold, like yellow gold. But those inks are almost identical for sure. That's an excellent dupe if you wanted to try out 𝗤𝗏𝘁𝗄𝗏 Press. It's also kind of similar to 𝗦𝘃𝗽𝗍's Ray Jaguar. I think the shimmers are very close. The 𝗦𝘃𝗽𝗍 pulls slightly more orange, just slightly, and it is a bit lighter, but Salted Caramel is very close to that one as well. And that's all I have for yellows. Yeah, I think there's a couple of good ones here. The last two I just mentioned, the Bookkeeper's Brass and the 𝗦𝘃𝗽𝗍's Ray Jaguar, yeah, are the two closest, but it's a very pretty ink. I do think it pulls both brown and yellow, so you could put it either or. I probably will put this in the yellows just because I had so many more matches with it. It is kind of an ochre-y color, and with the golden shimmer, it does make it pull a bit more yellow to me. I like it. I'm kind of surprised this is the second to last ink, but I like it. It's okay. I can see myself using this one. Let me do a writing sample real quick, and I'll be back in a second, and we'll see how this does with a full page. Okay, so after writing with it for a full page, it did really well. It actually was pretty well flowing for me in terms of a lighter ink. I didn't have any issues in terms of like hard starting, skipping, or just overall dry feelings with my dip nib. I do want to say I don't think the shimmer did very well, but I do also think that is because of me. Using a dip pen with shimmer inks is kind of hard because you have to like keep stirring the ink up to keep the shimmer, you know, agitated throughout the ink, but it's a very pretty color. I do think it would be a bit light in something like an extra fine, maybe even some fines, but to me this is still legible even though it is a lighter ink. I think if it gets any lighter than this, like the Song of the Reed is lighter than this in writing, but they're similar in shade, I think I couldn't handle that. But yeah, it's pretty. I like it with the shimmer. I like the tone of the ink. I probably would have preferred it to be a bit darker. Maybe next year Diamine, you know, will give us a fantastic like deep brown, like maybe even a purple brown with some fun like red or green shimmer in it. I don't know. I feel like that'd be pretty festive, but that's just me, you know, spitballing out there. Anyways, day 24, everybody. I cannot believe we are almost to the last day of the Diamine Inkvent and the last day of Inkmas. This has been really fun for me, a fun challenge and a fun way to create content just for the sake of it and for the holidays, because why not? But yeah, I hope you guys like this one. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments. If you're sticking around for the last day of Colorverse after this, I will see you in those videos. Otherwise, Merry Christmas. If you're celebrating tonight at Christmas Eve, I hope you have a wonderful time. Otherwise, celebrate tomorrow or whenever you want. No, there's no rules with this. But yeah, Merry Christmas. Be blessed. I will see you guys tomorrow.